Doreen here from Doreen Food Prep Resources. Today I'm joining a group of ladies in a collaboration for SHTF recipes. And our organizer is the Apartment Prepper. I want to give her a big shout out for organizing this. My meal today is going to be lasagna. Keep in mind, this is all shelf stable ingredients. So I hope you'll sit back, follow along, maybe take some notes, and let's get cooking. So let's get started with the ingredients. You'll find a list of the recipes in the description box below. For the tomatoes, I decided to choose fire roasted tomatoes. I like to add a lot of flavor when I can. The ground beef was pressure canned back in May of this year. And you see I have basil, oregano, dried onions, and that is my own dried garlic, salt, parsley flakes, and of course a little bit of brown sugar. The brown sugar is to offset the acids in the tomato. We're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of dried onion, and we're going to reconstitute them with some hot water. My personally dehydrated garlic, 1.5 tablespoons. I don't measure the water. If there's any water remaining, I'm going to throw that into the sauce at the end anyway. That looks pretty well reconstituted. Throw in some oil in the pan. We're going to brown the onions over a medium heat. We're going to add in the garlic. Garlic, of course, I'm sure you know you need to be a little bit careful of. You don't want to over brown the garlic. It will become bitter. And I drain the meat. The juice from the meat you'll want to set aside. That is actually broth. When I canned this ground beef, I canned it in bone broth. Now this meat is fully cooked, but I like to brown it a little bit more. I browned it before I pressure canned, but here again, I just want to get a little bit more flavor. It's not required. And we're going to add in our tomatoes. And you can use any type of tomatoes that you prefer. And we're going to add our herbs. FYI, actually added parsley in. That's not in the recipe. I didn't include it, but yes, without thinking, I put the parsley in, but parsley goes good in it as well. We're going to add the tomato paste. Add the juice from the meat. We're going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes. course, I have to have a little taste. Yes, it's very good. So we're going to fill up a pot with water. This is my asparagus pot. It's actually pretty deep. We're going to put a handful of salt. Once it gets to boiling, we're going to add our lasagna noodles. I bend the noodles over once the bottoms get a little bit cooked and more flexible. Then I put a lid on and I turn the heat off. Let them cook until they're al dente, about 5-6 minutes. And our noodles are done. The recipe calls for 1 whole egg. So of course you know I use egg powder. It's 2½ tablespoons of egg powder and 2½ tablespoons of water. And we're going to use a homemade ricotta cheese. Please look in the description link below for the YouTube on how to make ricotta cheese. And honestly, it's about 3/4 cup of the ricotta. My husband doesn't really like ricotta that well. And then of course a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to mix thoroughly. And you add 2 tablespoons of parsley. Not sure why the camera didn't catch that one. And I add about a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt and onion powder. And as you know, I'm a sprinkler. I don't really measure. And 1 cup of spinach. And I dehydrated that spinach myself. Let's build the lasagna. So I take a couple of scoops to put down on the bottom of the pan so it will stop the noodles from sticking. We're going to place 3 lasagna noodles side by side on the bottom of the pan. We're going to use 1/2 of the ricotta mixture. Smooth it out over the base of the noodles. And then sprinkle 1/2 of the spinach, which would be about a 1/2 cup, on top. And we're going to use 1/3 of the mozzarella cheese. This mozzarella cheese is homemade, and I do have a link in the description box on how to make mozzarella cheese. And we're going to take 1/3 of the sauce and add it on top of the mozzarella cheese. And I'm sure you would love to watch me build layer after layer. But instead, we're going to do a few snaps and move on with the recipe. And the last layer of mozzarella cheese. We're going to preheat the oven to 375, and we're going to cook this lasagna for 55 minutes. So what goes better with lasagna than fresh baked rolls? These rolls are the bread machine poofy rolls that I have already done a YouTube on. Please look in the description box and you will find them. On the rolls, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of egg powder and water, mix it up. That's what I love about the egg powder is I don't waste an egg. I just use what I need. We'd like these to get nice and brown. I always put an egg wash on my eggs. How about you? Leave a comment if you have a different way. And they have risen nicely. And these are going into the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes or until golden brown. And you see our finished lasagna. It baked for 55 minutes at 375. And to finish it off, I've added some romano beans. It's hubby approved. You'll find the link of the playlist for other collaborators in the description box. Please watch their contribution as well. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.